Hey guys, welcome to Jerry's Live. As always, I'm your host, Amy Gardner-Dean. Sorry, we're just making sure we've got all these platforms on with us today. So the episode today is JL139. It is about pen and ink with dip pens, and we're going to demo these. So just some fun little pens we got in that everybody here is obsessed with, and we thought, you know, these are so pocket-friendly prices, and it's a really fun way to do just some enjoyable drawing that we would try that. So if you're playing along at home and you want to pull up any of the items as we're going along and using them, you're going to type in JL139 into that search box, and that will pull up all the items that we've got here today. And you can kind of know what we've got and where you can find it easily. So before we get started, we need to remind you again of the Jerry's 8th annual self-portrait contest. Entries are now through April 12th, which is, it seems like a long way away, but you know, it seems like it was January 1st just yesterday, so there's not a lot of time. Try to get your works done and get your entries in. The winners are announced June 12th. There is $5,000 in prizes to be had, 30 popular vote finalists, 30 jurors. Just stab myself with the pen, apparently. 30 jury, 30 jury, I can do it if I look at Katie. 30 jury chosen finalists. So, and of those 60 total finalists, there will be a jury of professional artists that will select the winners. So, and remember again, it's a self-portrait contest, which that means a portrait of yourself, and it needs to be done with art supplies, not with your cell phone or filters or photography or anything like that. We're an art supply company, and we enjoy self-portraits made with art supplies. So give it a go, and good luck to everyone. And again, through April 12th, www.jerrysartorama.com. Self-portrait is the keyword, correct, Katie, for the search box? So you can use that. That will pull up the page. You can also see some of the amazing entries that we've had in years past. Last year was a humdinger. That was very hard to even just narrow things down. There were so many really unique, exceptional portraits. So, so good luck. All right, so dip pens, it's that age-old thing where, you know, everybody remembers seeing the movie with, or, you know, maybe a dramatic reenactment of the signing of the Declaration of Independence anyway, right, Amanda? I mean, that's something we've all seen with the feather, and it's the crow quill, and they're dipping the pen in the ink and scrubbing furiously. Well, you don't have to chase birds around for feathers to do that kind of stuff anymore. There's been modernized versions, and we've got the cool ones. So we're going to work with these today. So we've got these new awesome pens. They're called Golden Writ. They're hand-blown professional glass dip pens. They come in a beautiful gift box. They have the pen, these adorable little vials of ink.
So cute.
And a rest, which seems like I was like, but then no, it makes sense. It's a hand-blown rest as well. So that when you're working and you need to take a break, you can set your pen on it. It's not going to drip and make a mess everywhere because, again, they're dip pens. But these are hand-blown. They've got this really pretty spiral in the handle. They're ergonomic. The way they're designed actually is pretty awesome, considering that each one is different and unique because, again, they're hand-blown. And then the tip has this beautiful spiral, and when we get a chance, we'll show a close-up of these. The spiral is a really unique concept. It actually draws the ink up on the spiral and then holds a good bit as it flows down to be able to be worked with. So we'll get a close-up of that when Katie gets a chance. We're having a little technical glitch. There are multiple colors. We've got these here. I'm going to put this one up here as well that I just took out of the box. We've got a Blossom, Cardinal, Graphite, Peridot, that pretty little green, and then that beautiful Caribbean Stunner. That's very, pretty. I think that's my favorite, Katie. It varies from day to day.
Yeah, it really does.
Because they're just, and different pens look like, because they're all unique and hand done, different ones have like a shinier pearl in them, and some have little pearl crackles where you can see the glass even brighter in it. So they're just all these really unique, pretty little works of art. So that's the color. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Wow. I like that from the side. So I'm gonna show the point so they can see what I'm talking about. All right, see that, what I'm talking about with that spiral on there, the ink will go right up that, and then the handle is just really pretty too, where it's got that spiral to it. All right, so because, you know, people are always going to ask, what are the inks that I can use with this? I've brought a variety of inks that are perfect for this kind of work. Anything that's ink is going to be able to work with this. But I've got an India ink, the Soho Urban Artist India ink that we'll give a shot with. I've got the Golden Rit inks that are our ink that's designed for our Golden Rit fountain pens that are kind of the, I guess, big brother of these dip pens that actually have the cartridges, or you can draw this ink up into them to plug into the fountain pens. But it has these beautiful colors that Amanda did the lettering. She's waving like that you can't see, but she's acknowledging you. Katie, can we do the overhead so they can see the colors of the ink, because it's really beautiful. And with these being, we showed them when we did the first episode of the year with the Golden Rit pens. They're not waterproof, but the beauty of it is that you can actually take them and do some washes with them from your drawings. So that's a really, really pretty, you know, it's got these really nice little, where it kind of, in the bottom of some of the lettering, it shows a little bit red and that midnight blue. So it's just really nice ink. And again, not being waterproof, it's easy to clean the pen and things like that. Then we've got some of Sonalia's new acrylic abstract ink. Any type of acrylic ink will work with these as well. So we're going to try this on, with the dip pens, on a couple different substrates. I've got some, got to move all these without dinking them together everywhere. Okay, which color is Patty's favorite? Because I'm sure that there's not a copper, so what?
She has not commented yet, but we all like the Caribbean one.
Yeah, it's very showy. The pink, it will show better on something darker. It's
the pink
very
is lovely,
delicate,
but it is light.
Yes, and understated. All right, so with this we've got some Stonehenge Aqua Hot Press that we're going to use, which is a watercolor paper that's, you know, obviously sized, but hot press so it's nice and smooth. So that'll work really nicely with the inks.
Patty said red.
Red, okay. All right, Patty, I'll use the red one just for you. All right, the Bristol, we've got some of the Bristol paper with a vellum surface, so it's got a little bit of tooth, so that'll let us kind of see what it does with that smooth tip of the glass pen. And then we've got Yupo translucent, which is a synthetic polyester paper, and what we're going to do with that, we'll do that at the end. We'll try the acrylic ink on that, because what works really nice on this, but acrylic inks. So so we will give, let's give the Bristol a start with, we'll go ahead and go with the regular Soho India ink. How about let's do that? Just to give this a try and a shot. All right, how tight do we want to get in with these, Katie? Because I've got a little, I think that'll be probably fine.
Well, I've also got that side angle that's pretty close.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right.
We'll adjust as we go so they can see the best.
Okay. So the pens do come with those cute little jars of ink, and it's just the black, simply black, that those come with, and it's perfect for the length of the pen. So that's an ideal little jar for that. But we're gonna give the India ink a try. I've not tried India ink with this, so I'm expecting exciting results since I've used the pen. What? Okay. Let's tilt this a little further over. There we go. Can you see how that comes up the pen? I wonder if this is a little heavy. Oh, no. It's working. With it being that little heavier shellac, it's good to kind of do a little bit of a blot the tip or kind of play with it on the side. This might be the vellum. Did we try the vellum when we did these before? I don't remember if we did.
We've tried so many different things with them. You need water. Actually, if you pull that back a little bit, that side view is going to be a little bit easier for them to see.
Okay. Yeah, being left-handed too, I think.
Yeah, pull it towards the red.
Okay. Is that this way? This, oh towards the camera.
No.
So. Oh. All right, I can't see the side view to know. I'm not seeing this, I just see the front. And
Push it towards the red a little bit.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, perfect. Let's give this a try and let's just see if that India ink maybe with the shellac is a little heavy. You can thin the India ink with no problem. But I'm going to see how clean that came off with the India ink. This is dark mocha. I wonder if it's this paper. Let's see if it's... There we go. You know what, it was me. I'm not...
You're not holding it straight up and down enough?
You know what? No, you have to kind of hold it at an angle, I think, to get it to... I was holding it straight up and down with the shellac and it came kind of pouring off.
I also usually dab the edges of the ink lid just to get the excess off before I go for it.
Yeah, I think it was just me. I don't think it was that pen, and it wasn't the paper. Let's try the India ink and just see if that was the case. It may need to be thinned. This is very... No, it works with it. I think it definitely needs to be thinned. It's a very, very much heavier ink than the dye-based. All right, so do we want to try a drawing with this, guys? Do we want to stick with the Bristol or do we want to try a different paper? I think it'll be fine now that I've got it.
What paper did you like with it? The vellum?
Mm-hmm.
Right with the vellum.
This is the Bristol vellum surface.
Is that one? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I've got a number of different sources here. Look, did you guys see what was there? Mm. Let's do the little watermelon bite. That would be cute. It's a happy little watermelon bite. Not to be confused with the Bob Ross Happy Tree. Amanda. Okay. So with this type of a thing, you could do your drawing ahead of time with no problem. I just like to I think the only issue that I would say is being left-handed. I don't want to come over here and do this side of the drawing and then try to come back over and work on this because I will inevitably get something in the way. So I'm going to kind of work on that one little part. This is just going to be a really loose, kind of scribbly little drawing. Get my little seed there. This is kind of where that red is going to intersect. Just going to do the shadow down the whole side. Notice I have not had to go back and get more ink yet. All right. Let's do the shadow down beneath while I'm here so I don't, again, drag my hand through it. If people have questions, go ahead and...
How are you cleaning the nib between colors?
All I'm doing is just dipping it in water and swishing it. It's that easy to get that off. So, not a problem for... I don't know if I would have necessarily needed to reload there, but... See a little bit of that side over there. So... Now this ink, if it's thinned out some, will look even more kind of brown. Where's the... It's that color there that we're using. So you can see it becomes this really beautiful kind of sepia as it's thinned. So if I wanted to come in and do some tonal work, but with line, I could go ahead and thin this in some little containers, and that would be a really nice way to give yourself some kind of variation, you know, with almost like color variation, but still using a line to actually do your drawing. I like the feel that this makes on the paper. Okay, so we've got another little seed here. Just drawing that light to suggest it, because that's really more of a color transition. It's not really a hard line, so don't really want to make that much more than that. This would be a really nice place to take that and thin this out maybe. Let's get another little seed up here peeking through.
Dorothy was asking if there's different size tips for those pens.
No, the pens are all, I mean, there's going to be some, she asked if there's a tip difference with these. You can see that probably, you know, pen to pen, there's going to be some variation, but they're designed to be similar. Okay, but because of the hand nature of the pens, it's going to be variable here and there, just due to that. Okay, I'm going to darken this because I want this to be a little bit darker, so I can put a little bit of shading on this side. Normally I would choke up on that more, but I'm gonna pull my hand through this and I can see it's not quite dry yet, so, okay.
If you push your whole drawing and reference up just a couple inches, I can let them see it in different angles too.
There you go.
Just a little bit more.
Is that better?
There you go.
Okay. Now with this, I could have not put that line in and just done shading, right? But just to make it easier for you guys to see as I'm going along and doing this, it was just easier to put some sort of line work in there.
Can you talk a little bit about the different kind of paper surfaces, and for people that don't know what vellum actually means, or?
Okay. I mean, vellum is, there's different, okay, this is Bristol, and Bristol's like a harder, thicker. This is the Strathmore. I think it's, yeah, it's the 300. So depending on the series, it's going to depend on what the paper's made out of. 300 is just regular paper, pulp paper. It's heavyweight though, it's 100 pounds. So Bristol's that got that thicker kind of.
Almost feels like poster board thickness usually for me. A little bit, but not.
Yeah, but with a softer,
Yeah.
a softer finish. And there's there's smooth vellum and then there's textured vellum. This has a little bit of texture. Just you can feel just a slight bit. But I mean, that's me being very paper picky. So, but it's heavyweight, so 100 pounds is not that much further off of it being, you know, a watercolor paper thickness. So we've got that on there. Let's try the watercolor paper with the hot press and see what that feels like in comparison. Okay.
While you're switching out,
Yes.
Sherry's wondering about, so after you are done with your like water that you're using to switch colors, how would you dispose of that? Do you think that it would stain a sink, or would you be fine if you were running water?
What I do with that kind of stuff is always have run water and use something that's not huge where it's going to just dump everywhere, where you can go and pour it very slowly in. But obviously you need to pay attention to what is the material that you're using. This is just dye-based ink, so that's fine. Even really something like the India ink, it's going to be just the remnants of what you've washed off, which is going to be extremely diluted. But if you're starting to, you know, it's different with paint, because paint obviously is going to have more body to it, right? Then we're kind of in a whole different type of disposal methods. What color do people want to see with this? There's burnt carmine. That might be a little bit easier to see.
You showing the options again?
Yes. Okay, so this is the burnt carmine. We've got burnt carmine and the midnight blue, or midnight sapphire. Sapphire. You have to whisper it.
I love that sapphire.
No, it's gorgeous. The carmine's a little prettier maybe in a drawing because of the, and I thought that's the one I grabbed to do that before I started, because that would have been cute with the watermelon being red.
You definitely
So what do you guys think?
tell until they're diluted a little bit.
Right.
Patty said yes, burnt carmine.
All right.
She was the first one to respond.
Everyone
And
else
then we
can
have a
blame
vote
Patty.
for midnight sapphire.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? We could use both
Ooh.
and just really get tricky. Notice I'm holding that down because I'm the queen of ink going. Pfft. All right. Gorilla face. What do you think? In carmine and the blue? All right. So go back over this a little bit. I tend to draw through things, so I like that blue on the paper though. The hot press is really nice. I think that I actually like the smoothness of the hot press a little bit better than that Bristol, but that's it doesn't slow catch like the other one kind of grabs the tip a little bit, if that makes any sense. This is much smoother, and it's able to get a little bit quicker, faster line. Okay, you notice, have I had to load this pen back up yet?
The amount of ink it holds is crazy.
Astounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't feel like it's gonna be, like, actually, I feel like this seems wrong. It should, why am I not running out, you know? Ooh, look at those nice, how pretty and blue those lines are.
Cindy is asking, she said she may have missed it earlier,
Oh,
but
just ran out.
Did it?
Yep.
She was asking, and this is a good point, if the point on that pin is equivalent to kind of a crow quill nib would be. Obviously, it holds a lot of ink,
okay,
which is not normal.
Well, no, because crow quill, okay, so that's a good question. But crow quill, because you can push down and it's got that, with a crow quill, it's got like a slit in it, right? That does, they can see over here, right? That typically you've got like a little holder and a slit to draw, right? Where it's been cut up just a little bit to have that thing for the ink to run down, and the slit is actually the reservoir that gets trapped in there. All right, so you can push the tip might be micro fine. Hold on, we'll come back to the gorilla, I promise. Let's put him over here so we don't spill ink on him. Okay, so this is the quill pen. So you've got different points. Can you zoom in like tighter on this, or is it okay? Okay. All right. Okay, see those little holes in between? There's one that's got an even bigger thing. Right in here is the reservoir on those. Okay, see that little hole where it's not shiny? That is where the ink gets trapped, in that little area. Then the tip is the tip, but because it's split, you can push down and actually make these wider as you go. And the different tips are going to be flatter, wider, pointier. I mean, you can get more like a like calligraphy tips. And those also, you don't want to dip much past that thing because it's going to become very gross.
On the glass pins, what kind of pressure are you using? Dorothy's wondering.
You don't have to use any pressure. You're just laying it down and moving it. With this, depending on the line you want, see, I can do that. Already, I'm out with that little bit of a stroke. Okay. See, I can make a much wider stroke. But again, I'm already out. That much for one dip, that much for one dip. That's a pretty big difference, right? Now, different ones will have different things, but I mean, that's a pretty sizable reservoir there. So, so it's other than with this, I mean, the obvious beauty of this is you can pull this off and put different nibs in, right? But I don't know. It's not. This makes it so much. I had multiple lettering classes in college, much to my dismay and frustration and almost insanity. But dipping a pen over and over and over and over and over would have very easily been solved by this. So, and it depends on, obviously if you're doing calligraphy, you're probably going to need one of these pens that's got a wider tip to it. But for drawing, it's nice because you can use it and get more of, other than you can get more ink that flows off it depending on kind of how you're holding the pen, and you can go back into some of the wet ink and pull it around. But this is like using one of the Acrylic pens or Micron, in that it's the point size it is, right? So you've got some consistency to it. All right, where did let's put just don't want to pick that up with the gorilla face there. All right, anybody have any other questions about that? Does everybody want me to finish the little gorilla guy? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're on dip number 2 with this, okay? I'm going back in the drawing because I feel like I can do that because it dried while we were playing with the other. Like, see, I just went into that double. Now you can see that that kind of mimics a bigger line there. Still on that first, or that, you know, since coming back to this, that first little bit of ink. I feel like it's starting to run out because it looks lighter now. Yep, sounds like we're almost there. You can hear a little bit of an audible difference. Yep, it's out.
Is it scratchier?
Mm-hmm.
Is that ink waterproof when dry?
This is the golden ink, which is not waterproof. It is dye-based, so it is going to be water resistant, but not waterproof. The way that it's designed. You can use other inks that are, and in a few minutes we'll work on the with some of the acrylic ink, and that is waterproof when dry. I'm going to try to do the eyes really carefully because I'd like to go in with the other color into that. I think that would be really cool. Oh, he looks kind of angry. Does anybody else have questions while we're trucking along?
Do you find that these inks dry relatively quickly?
They dry, you know, as fast as like a watercolor would. They're gonna dry maybe a little quicker because it's not like a saturated wash, right? But where I'm going back and forth like this, kind of going line over line, and it's still kind of a wet area, it's going to take longer to dry.
Also, do you imagine it would take longer for it to dry on yupo than, say, like a watercolor paper?
It depends on the ink. Acrylic is probably going to dry relatively fast because it's, you know, got a different composition than this. This would probably take much longer, and then again, it would not be waterproof, so if you went back with anything else, it could lift up, right? Or sweat from your hands if you touch the paper or what have you.
Have you had any issue with any, like, I guess the question is, any tricks if the tip clogs? Have you had
If
any
the tip
issue?
clogs with this?
Yeah. I haven't
There's no
personally
way
had
to
any
clog
issue
the
with
tip
it. Yeah.
because it's just streaming. It's like, think of it as like a waterfall. This is just streaming down. It's not like a traditional crow quill. And that's kind of the beauty of it, especially if you want to use things that could clog a traditional crow quill, like the India inks or things like that. This is not going to do that because it's external, right? Where the ink reservoir is, it's absolutely fully external. So you're not going to have those kind of issues. You should be able to just, if you need to, you know, if it gets on there and it seems resistant for not wanting to come off, just, I mean, you could take a kitchen scrubby to it, or even a little bit of solvent if you needed to. It's glass, so it's not going to, mineral spirits or something like that would take it off fine. I don't know why I just dipped that, because I think I'm just used to dip pens having
And also,
to,
you just don't want to let stuff dry on it.
right. But I mean, it wipes clean super easily. I mean, look, this is loaded up. You just take it, twist it, and it wipes it off, and then you just, you know, wipe off the excess and then rinse it in your water if you're ready to change colors or whatever. It's not like those dip pens where those little holes, you got to try to get an ear swab and try to, get in there to try to get it out of the little thing. Super easy. Dip pens are usually a giant source of frustration for me. So these were a really magical kind of find when they brought these on, and that it's enjoyable to just kind of play with ink like this to me. Whether it's for something final or not, but that sure makes it a lot more fun and interesting when you're not having to clean a pen a whole bunch, right? This needs to go on a little wide on his face here, so we're gonna trim that back and just kind of shadow.
Can you clarify the difference between, just for those that don't know, waterproof and water resistant? For Monica was asking on Facebook.
Okay, so water resistant means that when it dries, for the most part, you could touch it and it's not gonna lift. But that means it resists moisture or water or smudging or things like that. If you actually take water with a watercolor brush, get it wet and put it on there, it is going to lift with a lot of excess water. Okay, waterproof means that you put it down and it's going to stay once it's dry. Now, there are different levels of water resistance. Acrylic gouache has a lot of pigment and a lot of weight to it. That is going to be a lot more water resistant than something like this that is fluid already, that's dye-based, okay? So that's just something, this is the type of thing that when you get this, like we tell you to swatch paint, try this with some scrap paper. Put some down, let it dry, get some water, have a go with it. You may need to even let it sit for 24 hours. Some inks are a lot more water resistant in 24 hours than they are initially. So it's good to play with it to see, what your strengths and weaknesses are for it before you just, all of a sudden use it for, some work that you've got to have somewhere quickly, and then you have problems with it later. So, all right, let's try the other color with it. What do you think? Let's put his little ear in here. So if you're worried about something being waterproof, go with acrylic inks. It's ink, so it's fluid, so it'll work with this kind of thing, but it's going to give you the flexibility of the waterproof of the actual acrylic itself. I'm not going to put a lot on this because I want to just try to very carefully go into the eyes, because again, this could potentially lift up. I don't want it to. Yeah, it looks like it maybe did. See how pretty this color is? So see, one will lift the other. If I draw into this a little bit, I can actually use this to enhance that by making it a little bit more of almost like a violet. So knowing that and playing with it like I am here, I'll have a much better idea of what this will actually do. And it's really nice because the blue has some kind of red undertone in it, so this would be a nice addition to actually working with this and allowing the colors to kind of play together. Like, see, that picks up a little bit of that blue that wasn't quite dry, and then I can actually take it with me on the red. Play with that back into some of this blue. Make sure I clean that off so I don't have blue coming back into the drawing.
Rocky is wondering, if you stop moving with it, will the ink continue to flow and make a puddle?
That's a good question. Let's try. Okay. So putting it down here. So far nothing's happening. Okay, I'm gonna lift it. I'm gonna turn the pen, just see if that does anything to the spiral and makes it come off more. But it looks like a little bit's coming off, but I'm moving it pretty good. There's a little blob. But I put that
But
down.
if you're drawing and you just stop for a second, it's
Right, if I, right, well, that was like spinning it and
Right.
making it come off. So look, we've had it there that whole time. It's just the little line that lifted up. So no, you could actually leave it sitting somewhere. I mean, now probably if you're drawing along and you stop and it's right in the middle of some of your other wet stuff, it looks like it's starting to pull it off just by, you know, not much though. So anyway, so this works very, very nicely with hot press paper. I like it with that. I think if I was gonna do the Bristol, I would do the smooth instead of the Bristol vellum. Just all right. Want to try the acrylic ink?
Have you tried stippling with that pen? I'm a little afraid that it would make it come out
Really
fast.
technical pens are as popular as they are because really that works best with stippling. Stippling is not really a crow quill or this type of pen. I mean, we could try it real quick. Let's, doesn't hurt to try, right? Because the problem is the little bit of force with the stippling is gonna potentially start knocking it down. See, it doesn't want to come off like that. Let's try it on its side. So, I mean, it'll work. I think the biggest thing is with a technical pen, it's such a dry amount of ink that's being put on a surface. And this is much wetter because it's fluid, like right out of the thing that I would be concerned that as you're putting your little stipple spots down, it's going to join up with another one that's still wet and then make kind of a bigger, a more messy kind of blob. Does that make sense? So it's not that it won't work. It probably will. And probably if you don't put a lot of ink on it at a time, it would stay drier and you wouldn't have that issue. But again, testing your new art materials, give it a whirl and try some of those type of things.
Speaking of testing, Diane on Facebook says she uses it. She has one of the glass pens and she uses it to apply masking fluid.
Ooh, that's a brilliant idea. Wow, because that's the thing, is how do you apply masking fluid? So, Katie, can you find some masking fluid? Because I want to try that after we try the acrylic. Thank you, Diane, because we need to give that a go. That's brilliant. I love that idea. Ooh, just hit the ink and thank goodness I closed it. It almost went, Amanda.
I mean, I told you about that time I dropped a whole bottle in my bathroom.
Yes. Should we try do we have time to try that first? You want to try that first, or do people want to see the acrylic ink first?
Let's do the acrylic ink first
Okay.
since we promised that. And then
Okay. We can always put it in the
we've got
Facebook
about
group.
15 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah, let's give this a shot. Because I'm really curious to see. I'm going to do this so this lies flat rather than... All right.
She says it's easy to remove, but she doesn't let it sit, but keeps it moving.
That's awesome, though. But that's... Because how do you get such super fine little areas? You can't with a
Exactly.
brush. It's too globby, even with the finest. I mean, you can get it pretty okay, but not like tiny little fine. That's just... All right. Oh, they're so cute. It's just a little tube. They're all little 12-ounce bottles, which is, I guess, about what these are, I think. All right, so we've got some different colors. So I'm going to use different pens for different colors. I think that would be the easiest. Don't you think? Okay. Don't go flying everywhere. Okay, so Yupo is a polyester paper. They make white and they make translucent, and this is translucent, meaning you can kind of see through it, right? You can see on the side. If you switch it to the side, I think you're gonna be able to see better.
I have to hold it. There you go.
See, you can see. You can't see
Frosted
fingernails.
glass.
Yes, frosted. Think your bathroom window. If you've got a newer construction house from like the past 10 or 20 years, it seems like that was the popular thing. Over a garden tub would be frosted glass window. So, all right, I don't think we need to use the white and the black. We just want to see the pretty colors. So the green can be used with the green. Peridot, excuse me, peridot. All right.
Push it up just a hair.
You want me to bring it over here?
Just a little so I can get close enough.
Oh, push the paper up from.
Yes. There you go.
Don't spill, don't spill,
Or
don't
just do it on
spill.
the top half of the paper.
Okay. All right, so let's. Oh yeah, that works nice with. Oh wow, that feels really interesting on that yupo surface. So you can tilt it higher or lower, and you can kind of variate the line control. So with like with any technical pen. Oh wow. Yeah, if you get that at the right angle. Again, this is why you practice, right? Because I made a glop there. Wow, I can feel that it's already dried, guys. On those first lines that I did, that's already dry because I was just going to go over it and it kind of skipped. So that works really fast with the yupo. That was my fault. I caught it on a piece that was drier. So this is definitely something to practice with. So the cool thing about this is you could put other inks or stuff on there, paint the stuff on first, and then go back over it with this, but still have it be waterproof with an acrylic ink. Let's see what the... I don't have a yellow one, so we're going to have to go with the rose. Yeah, that feels really nice on the yupo. Super smooth. And look how fine of a line you can get with it. That's great. Yeah, that green is, see how that's dry? It's not picking up the, because those are fine enough lines and it's very thin acrylic, it's not picking up. Is the overhead not picking it up super clear? Does that
Not the
look?
yellow quite as much.
Okay. All right, so red. Red. Excuse me, with the crimson. Now, acrylic ink and technical pens can be a huge monster. So this is nice in that if this gets goopy, you can just stick it in the water and soak it because it's glass. You're not going to damage it like a brush. See, into the yellow, it's not picking it up because that's already dry. So you could do all sorts of really fun, you know, shapes. And come back and do.
Do you think you could use high flow?
Yeah, because the high flow is essentially an acrylic ink, right? I mean, it's a super fluid acrylic. It's pretty much the same exact thing as acrylic ink. It's just, I mean, you could use high flow. You could use any of the, like the De La Rowney inks, just anything that's an ink. Watercolor inks this would work with. Like, remember when we've used Marabou in the past with stuff? They're really pretty watercolor inks. That would be really pretty with it. Okay, so let's try the blue. So see, this is, oh, forgot to pull it off on the side. So see, look how fun this the surface is so nice and smooth. You can really get a really beautiful line with it. And a really fluid line. This is very fun. I like this on the yupo. I like it on the watercolor paper too, but this is really nice. It gives a really, because it's a really nice modern feel to the paper. It's fun. All right, so I mean that works beautifully on that, and acrylic inks work really. It looks like with the acrylic ink, because it's a little bit more viscous, you can tend to, if you get kind of excited and you don't kind of wipe that excess off the end or blot it on, you know, a typical thing with a crow quill is always to have a thing and you just touch it to a piece of paper towel, not drag it through because you'll pick up the paper fiber, but just touch it to a piece of paper towel just to get that little bit of excess off. So that was my kind of being a little excited and not paying attention. Now this is still really thick and blobby, so I can go back in and actually use that to dip in if I want. So that works really well. So do we want to try the masking fluid? What brand of masking fluid is she using with this, out of curiosity?
I don't know.
Let's find out. We'll set this aside and we'll try the, actually let's just do this so we don't accidentally. If she's still there and would like to volunteer what it is she's using, that'd be nice. Let's put it on this hot press paper. Although, do you think it would be more visible on a cold press? We've got some right over there, I'm sure. Or there's even that, you know what, that Lan Aquarelle there might have some color swatches in the top of it. We could put the masking fluid over the top of it so we could see it. Are they goopy like it's, okay. We'll try it on this. Well, if you see something that's,
They're pastel.
oops, this is, I think this was from Katie. You grabbed one that I had where I was testing to see how long it would stay
Oh, do you need a
open.
different one?
Yes. I need to put an X on the lid.
Might be better.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, because that's, it looks like,
I think the other was pastel.
yeah, I think this is watercolor, this is actually watercolor oil pastels. Because I can see the pearl, but those are probably the Mungia ones.
Will that work?
Hmm?
Will that work?
Yeah, we'll put it right here.
Yes,
Just so they can see the, thank you. Okay. So. I think it's going to depend on brand. I think this is, oh, well, no, this isn't fluid enough. So it's going to depend on brand.
Huh?
The Turner's is a
Do you
little
think?
bit too viscous, yeah, which is probably why it works so well. Is that it's a little bit more viscous. So yeah, no, it's just too thick. I can see a little bit of line, but it didn't want to flow off of the pen itself. So probably with any brand that you can use through a fine liner, right? Like
Yeah.
the different brands that,
any other.
yeah, the different brands that you can use through the fine liners would definitely work. So yeah, the Turner, I forgot, the Turner's pretty thick, but the Turner also comes off after what, 2 months? So, all right, is there any other questions?
It wasn't stirred.
Oh, well,
I was thinking that none of mine looked
Okay.
like that did.
let me see if this one needs stirring.
Get you a stirrer.
Well, this will work with this. It will just wipe right off. Oh,
This has been sitting back there for a while. So.
maybe it'll work now. Stand by. Oh, yeah. All right. give it a shot. Thank you, Amanda, for checking that. Oh, yeah. No, that'll come off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't see it on the violet, but I mean, I can kind of see it. It definitely flows off of it, though. So, again, something you would want to practice before. Yes. You just need practice. It's not, again, just each type of ink's got a little bit different body and flows a little bit differently. So it's finding kind of how that works best. Yeah, that will work really well. Very awesome. So it'll even work for that. And you know what would be nice about that? No more wasting
Good
brushes. Because you, yeah. Because if you wet that, that just wipes right off with that spiral. You just go right with the spiral. And probably if it gets gummy, if you leave it on there because it's glass, you could probably just take an old toothbrush and pop it right off. So, the more you know. Thank you, Diane. That's awesome. So, these are really fun little tools. They're very inexpensive. Amanda, what are they? Like, is it the price $14.99 on
I'm
them?
gonna say it was like 13, but I'll check.
So, and that price gets you the pen, the little holder that keeps it from dripping, and a little tiny bottle of ink. That's the golden red ink. So
They are $14.09.
yeah.
Or you can get all 5 colors for $48.89.
Well, although you may not need all 5, it would be a nice gift for friends.
Or you might just need all 5.
Or if you're Amanda, you need 5.
Well, it'd be nice to be able to, if you're doing a drawing like that.
Yes.
Different
Right.
one for different inks like you were doing.
Right. Well, it makes it easier to remember which one you've used if you set it down for a little bit. Definitely. So I really like how the acrylic ink came off of that on the yupo. In fact, let's try. I want to see what it feels like on just the regular paper being a little bit more viscous and see what the dry time is as well. Oh no, that's really, that works. Let's see, I need to blot. I'm really bad about that. I get very excited and then I don't want to. All right, I'm blotting. Don't do as Amy does. Do as she says. Because when you do that, you don't get that excess that, see, that's, yeah. So the acrylic ink works really nice on watercolor paper as well. Awesome deal. All right, anybody have any further questions?
Just a lot of like excitement over this product.
I think they're just really pretty. I think when we were looking at colors and we picked the ones everybody thought were the popular colors, I think I ended up with an orange, like an orange amber at home.
Ooh.
I know. But that's me because I like that color. But these are pretty nice. So, peridot, that really pretty. On the side, that can be really pretty. That little pink, graphite, crimson, and the blue. All right, so next week, Amanda, it's about canvas, isn't it? Because poor Amanda had to place the order of a whole lot of canvases. In other shows that we've done recently, we've had a lot of questions come in, even though the topic wasn't canvas, a lot of canvas questions. So I decided that we really needed to do another episode because our first canvas episode was what? In 2017, Katie?
Yeah.
And it was so
been a while.
old, and it was before we were on YouTube, so it's not easy to watch. It was when we still didn't have great sound systems like we do now. So next week we're going over stretched canvases. We're going to talk about what's the right canvas for you for what you are doing. You may be at a student budget and that's all you can afford now, and there's nothing wrong with that. but you want the education about what different types of products are going to be more favorable for you that are kind of in that price range, you know, depending on if you just want to practice and don't, you know, care much beyond that. If you want to be able to keep it, if it's something you really like and want it to be archival, what that involves. If you aren't sure, should I be working on acrylic primed? Should I be working on oil primed? We've had a lot of questions about how many times do I need to prime a primed canvas? So we're going to touch on all those questions next week with the stretched canvas episode. And then I believe the first week in March, we're going to be doing a panel episode of the same variety, so that you guys are getting the substrate education that you've kind of seen like maybe you are really wanting, and then it won't be as important for us to cover those questions. And I mean, it's fine if we get some questions like that. We get questions when we get questions, but to make it easier so you know that stuff now, because everybody that watches is going to come up with something they probably didn't know about stretched canvas. And Amanda, I will try not to say giblets since I know that you do.
Well, you just did, so.
Then now they're gonna, if you tune in, you'll know what that means when we say canvas giblets. So, so that will be next week's topic. So tune in with us for that. And you guys have a great week. Make some art and post it in the Jerry's Live Facebook group.
Tag it with the JL.
Tag it with the episode. If you have some of these and you want to let people know kind of what you have tried with the Golden Rip pens, tag it, hashtag JL139. And then people can search for it. Okay? Take care, guys.